All right, gamers. We're going to do our next session of our Thursday game group, so stay tuned. Hey, gamers. Welcome back to Game Master's Dungeon. I'm Brian, your Game Master. Today's episode is going to be a little shorter with Thursday's group. I had some technological issues with my computer, so we didn't get to play as long as I hoped. So the episode's probably only going to be like an hour and something, but it's still going to be pretty good. At least I hope. I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. Hope you guys like the last episode. You know, the big, the revelation, things like that. Hope you're excited to see where this is going to go. I'm excited to see where it's going to go, how the players are going to be able to deal with everything that they've learned, and how are they going to be able to take care of what they have to take care of. I don't want to, go too deep into it, just in case you're coming in the middle of it or something. But if not, make sure you go back to the beginning and watch. If you watched since the beginning, so stay tuned and let's carry on. Okay, so let's just do a recap. So let's talk about last game. Go over what happened.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, it looks like Zoro definitely missed his spaghetti night due to coming upstairs and running across two gentlemen in the restaurant who we, through conversation, discover fully is Rash and the man who likes to impart visions into other people.
Okay. So what did you guys learn?
We discovered that in 40-something-ish hours, I think it was like 46 at the time, if we haven't stopped Rash, he's going to pretty much trash the world.
And that this is the seventh time that he attempts to save the world by pulling some shenanigans of time travel and reality alternation.
Yeah, Rash wasn't making a lot of sense. He's like, I need your help to save the world, but first you need to stop me from destroying the world. Solid plan.
Yeah, it sounds like he obviously believes whatever he was doing is going to be good in the end. You guys are unsure, but
And after that, he sent his goon squad after us.
that were hiding there the entire time. There was just an illusion that the one guy was producing.
And during that whole goon scene, MVP Igloo came into effect.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. That I happened to draw look like a little turtle, but it's all good. It served its purpose, right?
Yeah,
Keeping me from being filled with holes.
And me.
Squishy people safe.
And we also found out that on their side they have Sterling Jr., who seems to hate us just because he can hate us.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, you don't know if it was hate or if it was just orders. Maybe he's mind controlled. You don't know. Lots of mysteries. Touche. Whether it's real or if it's fabricated, it's still hate. You are correct. All right, so let's go. And then you cleared out, and you were wondering where Amy went. You thought that something had happened to her, but then she comes walking in to the restaurant shortly after, carrying like some groceries. She had to go out and get some things.
I would not want to be in Shadow Dragon's shoes right now.
She comes in. She's like, "What is going on with my restaurant?" It's kind of a mess right now. Obviously, the map here doesn't accurately represent the mess, but yeah, chairs and tables and napkins. Napkins are just everywhere. Holy shit. Silverware, plates. There was like explosions in the kitchen. You waterboarded some guy in the kitchen. You got all the dudes out, and you guys are just kind of standing there in the aftermath when she comes in, and now you guys are like, okay, we need to talk. And that's where we're gonna pick up here. So you guys have like picked up a table and put the table right, and picked up some chairs and put the chairs around the table, and
I've attempted to make tea.
You're like, where's a non-broken teapot? You go in the kitchen. You take her groceries into the kitchen. You set them on the counter. That's a mess now. You're just clean, wiping away the stuff. Set the bag there. You get a teapot and the stuff. Get the boiling water going. So now you guys are sitting around this table with some nice piping hot tea. Hopefully it's good. I don't know if Zoro's gonna have that, the proper touch when it comes to it, but I think it'll turn out all right. And you guys are just having a conversation with Amy, updating her on what's going on and what you've learned. So now open to you guys.
So are we just kind of assuming like we have to explain everything right now, or we've already kind of filled her in?
No, we're gonna kind of pick up like you guys are gonna be doing the explaining to her, because then this will give you some times also to rationalize maybe a plan or come up with stuff. I'm just kind of leaving an open floor to you guys. Say what you do.
Rash was here.
As she looks around and looks at the mess.
He brought some friends who decided to get rough.
She has this kind of mom's upset that the kids made a mess in the kitchen kind of look on her face.
He also brought the guy who put the visions into Sketch's head.
She's like, oh, really? Did he do anything else?
Told us we have 46 hours to save the world.
She looks at her watch. She's like, 46 hours?
Yeah, that was probably about an hour ago.
So we're about 45 hours now.
So she's quiet for a moment as she kind of looks around. Looks like she's thinking.
Did you know he was still alive?
She's like, no, I didn't know, but I kind of guessed or figured that he would show up again. She's like, I don't know. It was just one of those gut feelings you get. So what did he say? What is he gonna do?
He didn't give away any part of his plan. He just said that he was going to try and destroy the world, and that we, along with the other group of supers that have been running around, have to stop him.
She's like, he didn't give any details at all. Anything he might have said that we might be able to use.
Not that I can. Actually, no. Did y'all fill me in on this? Or are we just kind of assuming that? Because I wasn't there. Remember?
Yeah, I'm assuming you guys would have
Okay.
filled you in.
Yeah, waterboarding.
I tried to recall the entire conversation, trying to piece out together if there's clues or anything.
Okay. So you remember him talking about Rupert and about what he says that Rupert can do. About the powers that he has. Apparently, he can control gravity.
Mm-hmm.
To a certain extent. And then he said that he's going to use something to enhance his powers to, you're assuming, some kind of astronomical effect.
All right. Well, I remember that Rupert is a central part of his of Rash's plan. Apparently, Rupert can control gravity to a certain extent, and he's going to unlock his full potential. So I'm not exactly sure what the full potential is, but I'm guessing it has to do with no more gravity, or at least part of it gone for a while, something like that.
He's either going to nullify or amplify gravity in some way, shape, or form, probably causing massive shifts in the Earth crust.
I mean, if he just nullifies gravity, we all fly away. If he increases it in any type of form or shape, the pressure could be devastating.
Does anybody have like a science-based skill or a profession or anything?
I can roll any expertise because of eidetic memory.
I have 1 point of technology.
Technology, no, not at this time. So yeah, if you can roll an expertise. This is going to be like expertise, science, like. Good luck.
That's a
And
9.
expertise sales, it starts with an S.
A 9. Sales, science.
Close enough, right?
Selling is a type of science, psychology kind of thing. 9.
Of sorts.
You know, like, let's see. So obviously you're right. If gravity becomes nullified, like zero gravity, pretty much everything on the surface of the planet that's not really secured is just going to fly off into space.
That
very
includes
quickly.
human being.
Yes, because remember, so we're moving at about 1,000 miles an hour because of the Earth's rotation. And the gravity is what holds us on here so we don't just go flying around. So if gravity shuts off, everything's going to go from almost stationary, kind of how we are now, to going at about 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, try to slam a wall with that speed. It's not fun.
Yeah, and then because I actually did some research that even 5 to 10 seconds worth of no gravity would be like an extinction level event for 99% of the species on the planet. So I mean that's a pretty good option. And then if he was to increase magnitudes of G's of gravity on the planet would also probably be devastating. Maybe not as much as fast, but it would definitely not be a good day. But in order to do that, either Rupert's going to have to be really, really powerful, or he's going to have to create something, some kind of machine or something that's going to assist in the amplification.
Is Rupert now?
Is what? Sorry?
Where is Rupert now?
Rash took him.
Yeah, Rash has him somewhere. You don't know where.
Oh.
Do
That's
we
what I
still have the
thought.
girlfriend?
Yeah. I'm assuming you guys probably left her down maybe in the lair or whatever. She's kind of emotional. She wanted to just, kind of hang out and relax. Maybe she just she fell asleep on one of the mats down there.
Because maybe there's a clue in her mind that she's not aware of. After all, she was with Rash for a long time before we arrived.
Maybe.
I go down to where we left her to try to read her mind.
Okay. Do you guys all go down there?
I
like the
explained to them
Batcave.
the plan.
I'll go with him.
Okay, I'll move. Let me make sure the map is set up well enough. Burp. And I'll change the screen here.
Oh, what the heck. We may as well all go ahead and go down.
I didn't make a token for her, but she's just kind of hanging out down here.
Yeah. I walk to her, and I grab her hand, take her to the chair.
She's all teary-eyed, and she's like, "What's gonna happen?"
Don't worry, everything is going to be okay. Now, I need to do something. I need you to stay still. I look into my eyes, okay? Everything is going to be fine. You're not going to get hurt or anything, okay?
She's like, okay, I guess. So
I,
she'll like look you in the eye.
I take a seat just across, just in front of her,
Mm-hmm.
and I go through her mind.
To kind of say, and what exactly are you looking for? Replaying the whole
I'm
time
I'm
that.
I'm looking for the memories that she has of the time that she spent alone with Rash,
Mm-hmm.
trying to see if there was any sort of conversation or if there was any hint or anything that I can consider would be valuable intel.
Okay. All right. So she looks at you. You look into her eyes, and you're able to kind of go like through the mind's eye into her memories. You go back, basically like playing in reverse from when you guys left the apartment. You're going back through the memories until you get to the beginning where she's just kind of home alone doing stuff. She's doing dishes and cooking some food and whatever, listening to music, and then there's a ring at the doorbell. The doorbell rings. A ring at the doorbell. That's weird. So she goes over and she answers it, and then through her vision you see Rash is standing there with a a nice smile on his face. She's like, hello, can I help you? He's like, yeah, actually, I'm waiting for Rupert. May I come in? She's like, oh, he's not here. He probably will be back for a while. He smiles warmly at her. He's like, don't worry, my dear. He'll be here soon. She's like, how do you know? He's like, well, may I come in and I can explain it to you? So she invites him in, and he's kind of like looking around the apartment. He goes over to one of the pictures on her wall, and he's like, oh, I remember this picture. As he kind of like touches the frame, she's like looking weird. She's like, what do you mean you've never been here? He's like, oh, never mind. Excuse me, don't mind me. Let's have a seat. So she goes over, sits on the couch, and he sits in that chair across from her. And there's like a moment of silence, and he's all like, do you have anything to drink? So she goes and gets some drinks, and she comes back, and they begin talking. She asks like, how does he know Rupert? And he's like, oh, he's an old friend. And that kind of way, like how he was telling you things that he knew from like his timeline and how he knows you guys, kind of that same kind of tone. She's like, oh, he never mentioned you. He's like, well, it's one of those things. I'm very forgetful. It's okay. I don't judge him for that. She's like, well, when is he going to be here? He pulls out that gold pocket watch. Oh, in about 30-something minutes or so. He puts it back in his pocket. She's like, oh, but he's been taken away by the SPD. Is he going to be released? He's like, he kind of leans in he's got his teacup. He's like, in a sense, I have some of my friends are trying to help him out right now, so don't worry, they'll come through. They normally do. So then there's like some more small talk about things in the house and the relationship between the two. But then she kind of goes back to, she's like, she asks him like, so are you like Rupert? He smiles. He's like, well, like in a sense, yes, exactly, no. I know what he can do. He can do what he does, and I can do what I do. But are we superpowered individuals? Yes. She's like, oh, I never really knew. It was kind of, he never told me till the one incident when he got upset and his whatever he does manifested. Then his friend turned him in, and they they came and grabbed him when he was at work several days ago, and I haven't seen him since. Just kind of like getting all like teary-eyed. But he just, he reassures her that everything will be okay and things will be fine. He asks her about if he's asked her to marry her or marry him, and she's like, oh no. He's like, oh, okay. He's kind of surprised. He's like, well, all right. So they just kind of sit and talk. Not a whole lot of conversation on specifics, but what specifically were you looking for?
See if there was any clue or any kind of word that that it's like out of place from the conversation.
I mean, the conversation is definitely awkward. You could definitely tell that he has the air of like he knows a lot of what is and probably what will happen, and she doesn't know. She asks certain questions about certain things, and he's either dismissive or very vague with his responses. She asks about his friends, so she basically is asking about you guys. He's like, oh, we go way back, me and them. He's like, well, yeah. As he's trying to think about how to word it, basically, because obviously now that he's a time traveler, right? So he's explained that he knows you guys very well, that you guys in his timeline were friends. He's explaining that you guys have been friends for a while, but technically as of right now, you don't really know each other. He's trying to he explains it in a way that's very vague but very reassuring. He's very charming, very genuine with her, with his, when she has concerns and he attempts to address them. But he doesn't really talk about any kind of plan. He doesn't talk about really anything. Just that he's waiting there for him.
Okay. Okay, after I get all the information, I just look at them and I shake my head. No, there's nothing there, guys. We might need to look somewhere else.
She's like, what do you mean there's nothing there? What's going to happen? Rupert's been taken from me again. Are you guys going to go save him again? Please, you have to.
We will.
That's the plan, don't worry. We already saved him once.
But this guy, he seems different than the rest of you. Like, is he a bad guy? Is he a villain? She looks like terror on her face.
I guess it depends on your point of view.
She's like, point of view? I mean, is he going to do...
At one point, I would tell you the definite answer is yes. And right now, he is in our persons to be stopped list.
Yeah, but but until we do something, we should all probably go out and figure out what we should do and start poking around a bit. We're not going to get anything done all just staying here.
Amy's like, you gonna go poking around? She's like, where do you plan to go poke around?
I think we need to figure out how we're going to beat this guy.
I'm a fan of punching in the face. Repeatedly.
As you flex, you're like,
Yeah, but you can't
exactly.
punch if you can't hit.
Yet.
Oh. Still, you can always just flex. It's kind of cool. You're just like...
Well, like I said, I haven't dropped the lucha yet, so yeah, that would actually fit.
Oh, yeah. And you gotta have that kind of sound when you do it, too.
Exactly.
You gotta, it's like you're constantly cutting a promo. Like, life is like one big promo. So then his girlfriend Sarah's like, so are you guys like a hero team or something? I didn't think you guys existed anymore.
I'm nobody's hero. I'm just here because of necessity.
I'm just kind of looking at the other three with kind of a quirked eyebrow.
Amy's like, in the beginning, we were all here because of necessity, but look at what we were able to accomplish.
I think we pretty much fit the definition of a team, guys.
A bad name.
Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da.
No!
So Amy she wanders off over here looking at the clue board. I guess that's what you're gonna call it now. The clue board. She's rubbing her chin. She's like, well, if Rupert's been taken and he has this power, how is this Rash? How is he going to accomplish his goal? We might need to think a little brainstorming might be in action, wouldn't you say, friends?
I take a look at the clue board as well while I'm going through the conversations in my head about what I saw in Sarah's mind and what we discussed with Rash, trying to find something.
Does anybody know anything about Rash's history, where he used to work, places he used to go frequently?
Sada was, Amy, she was around then. She's so she speaks up. She's like, well, we didn't really know much about him when he came onto the scene. He just kind of appeared. He made precision strikes on precision targets, targeting certain individuals, doing certain things. He was difficult to predict as she's kind of like staring at the board.
Did anyone ever find out anything about his normal life?
She's like, I never did. There may be somebody out there that did, but they may well be dead.
For all we know, there could be another version of Rash running around. No pun intended.
So what you're saying is we could actually be talking to the Rash who realized he was doing the wrong thing, but we have to stop the one who still thinks he's doing the right.
Pretty paradoxes.
I think that would get too tangled for us to unravel. What I do think is a safe assumption is that there is a version of Rash in this reality.
Well, the thing is that the Rash in this reality was killed by...
Was he?
Well, as far as we know, though. His body was found. I mean, hers wasn't, but his was. His body was found.
Amy's like, she turns and looks at you. She's like, was it? Kind of like that. She kind of does the eye squint. That the questioning question.
Oh, she goes and pulls the Yoda.
Yes.
Should be.
And so the Rash from our reality, who has not become that powerful yet, who isn't really a presence at the moment, is still out there somewhere. Unless the Rash from the future killed him or something similar.
It's an oddball theory, but stranger things.
Paradoxes.
Amy chimes in. She's like, well, also, when did he say that this alien invasion is going to happen?
7 years from now.
Yeah, something like between 7 and 10 years from now.
And how old does he look now?
I roll to see how old he looks.
He looks about our age, right? Mid-20s?
Yeah, he looks... Yeah, about mid-20s. All right, so where were we? Oh, yeah, we were talking about... we were looking at the clue board. You guys were rationalizing about Rash, like basically discussing the paradox of like what version is this. But then it kind of came up like, okay, he looks about mid. The guy that you've met looks about to be in his mid-20s. If that's the guy that's doing the time traveling, that means in 7 to 10 years. So if he's alive in this universe, he's probably like in his teens right now.
Even if he faced this girl Stardust when like 10 years ago or something.
Yeah, but that was him from the future.
You're right, right.
So you guys are wondering to yourselves, like, is the version you've seen now, is it the same version that fought Stardust? Is it the same version from the future? Is it a different version of him? Time traveling is a pain. See, this is a good example of why I never let players travel through time.
Yeah, it can be
follow
complicated.
all this, but my character can't. So
This is
Tells-
suddenly become Doctor Who.
Like, it tells really good stories, like, but they're always difficult. But it leaves a lot of questions like this, like.
Ultimately, I think it's a
things.
moot. I think it's a moot point because, the reality is that one version of Rash is going to try and destroy the world, and we have to stop him. We are not currently strong enough to do so.
First thing we got to do before we can worry about stopping him from saving the world or destroying the world is find him. And unless we've got someplace to start with that, we're already below square one.
Something tells me he's going to find us.
Yeah, but something tells me we need to find him. Because if he's amplifying someone's power, he's going to need somewhere to do that at.
He could
And
be using
potentially
empty buildings, factories.
Could be somebody's garage. Could be hundreds of places. But then you also, kind of theorize that he's probably going to need something to do it with. Some kind of machine or something.
And that something has to be housed somewhere.
Sorry, Brian. You mentioned that the city was basically rebuilt after what happened between Rush and Stardust. But is there still any part of the city that was left that it was as it was, like maybe where they fought or something like that?
Now, most of the areas that saw combat and destruction through that time had been rebuilt. A lot of what wasn't touched heavily was like a lot of the residential zones. There's still like some pretty pristine from that time residential areas. But all the stuff that got rebuilt is very a little more technological. New power grid, new this, new streets, buildings, all that other kind of stuff. But if you're to go to in the suburbs and the outlying areas of the city, a lot of that stuff hasn't really been changed too much, just because it never took any damage. It was never a place where combat took place.
Okay.
This might be a shot in the dark, but Rash said, according to y'all, that he needed to stir up the SPD into existence by killing supers and causing Stardust to do what she did in order for his plan to work this time. Now, the SPD has the ability to drain a super of their powers. What if the opposite was also possible using a similar technology?
Instead of nullifying and amplifying, you mean?
Yes.
That's actually not a bad idea.
That is definitely possible.
So you're interested in visiting our friend Sterling once more?
Possibly a better tact would be to figure out if any SPD scientists have gone missing recently.
So
yeah, you
wait,
can turn on the TV, maybe newspapers, internet.
I think internet search would be the fastest.
Well, as soon as you guys come up with a solid plan, let me know. I have some other things I need to take care of, and we still have about 2 days before we need to take down Rash. So
You make it sound so simple.
Shadow, y'all got a computer I can use real quick?
I look at Amy because I don't have a computer.
She's like, she's like, yeah, I have one upstairs in the restaurant's office.
All right. Do you mind if I use it to go online and do a search for missing persons?
She's like, please, be my guest. Just don't break it.
I promise I won't.
I'm gonna turn on my police scanner over here on the table and just listen to that for clues.
Okay. All right. So, Zorro, go upstairs. Make a. Let's see. Where'd you get cheat?
I have
Character.
technology and investigation.
So let's do an investigation.
Aha!
Oh, that must have been a good roll. I'm on different.
It's gonna be
Oh!
one of those games.
Yeah, it's one of these games.
Luchador
All right, so
PC work good.
Like you're just like this big dude up there in this big office chair, just. So you scrounging around on the internet, going to less than reputable sites, message boards, things like that. After searching through all that, you do find that 4chan. You do find that there's a rumor floating around that that the SPD was like their compound was attacked by a group of supers, and then shortly after that, there was some secret scientific equipment was taken, along with one of their top research scientists has gone missing as well.
Did they have a name on their scientist?
They do not.
Do we
They say what?
Is there a printer?
Yes, there is a printer.
I'm printing the thread.
Okay. You're like, ha! You always have to do that.
Ah!
There you go. You got it. All right. So you get that. That's really about all you can find, because nothing has been confirmed officially from any official source, for obvious reasons. But there's people that like to talk. So you come running downstairs. Everybody's kind of gathered around. Sketch, you leave.
I leave. I have my number on the table.
Okay. I will put you on that layer. So your screen will go dark, but
It is the dank.
Yep. I moved your token to a different layer. So Zora, you come running down. Everybody's kind of standing around the police scanner. The police scanner is relatively calm. There is some mention of an incident that took place near like SPD headquarters. Now, kind of how it works is that the SPD compound is almost like a sovereign kind of state. They do their own police investigations, all that other stuff over there. But there were reports that like bystanders and stuff nearby were calling in about some crazy werewolf causing an issue out in the streets, like attacking the main compound, causing a ruckus, like running down the street. The SPD gave chase. He ended up getting away. They're talking about be on the lookout for this individual. But that's really all you hear on the police scanner.
Hey guys, I do have a little bit of a rumor mill here for us.
Let's hear it.
So apparently there's unconfirmed rumors of 2 separate attacks on SPD sites. I'm assuming one was ours and a second one later, where some equipment and a scientist went missing. No details as to what type of equipment or who the scientist was.
Okay.
Yeah, like that thread is like relatively vague. It's quoted from an unnamed source. So you could about imagine it's somebody that's either in the SPD or close to somebody that talked, then who talked. But like I said, none of it's official. You don't know how true it is, but like you could imagine if somebody's out there talking about this this kind of specific stuff, that there's got to be some kind of credit to it.
Yep, keep in mind this is the rumor mill, but we know for a fact what we did. I wouldn't be too surprised if someone followed up on our heels for a secondary strike.
Well, the only idea that I have right now is to find a member of the SPD and ask them.
More waterboarding.
Do you have
Doesn't
any
hurt
mineral
that
water?
It
No.
doesn't hurt that we have a telepath.
Now, are you going to ask them, or are you going to ask them?
And then who is the next question. You guys come up like who would know? You're thinking like a regular, just an SPD soldier. Is he gonna know? You guys all look
Nah, we
around.
need to get Sterling.
I was
Or
just thinking
similar.
the same thing.
God damn it.
Operation Sterling.
Hey, maybe
Operation
on round
Sterling
3.
Hey,
Sterling.
we had him the first time. We were nice though.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying we didn't. That's why I'm saying round 3.
Ring the bell.
Ding ding.
All
So
right.
you all kind of come together and you're like, so Sterling. You guys kind of looking at each other.
Sterling.
You guys are all kind of nodding.
By the way, guys, before we do that, I need to make a phone call.
Yeah, you better let somebody know you're still alive.
Yeah, can I borrow anybody's phone?
I'll hand him my phone and unlock it.
All
Oh,
right.
that's odd. I suddenly just had this deja vu flash of like the same conversation, but also something about spaghetti.
Oh shit.
That look on your face, like just.
Oh, you see the blood completely drained from the luchador completely. He goes total Stark white.
Weak need.
Do you want it back? And I hand him back the phone.
You've got 5 minutes, buddy. Make your call.
All right. I go upstairs and call Natalie's number.
So you gotta go running upstairs, like you're dialing as you're going upstairs. To once you get up into the restaurant, you hit the send button and it rings, and then it rings, and then it rings, and it finally picks up, and she answers. It's like, "Hello."
Hello there.
She's like, there's a moment of silence. James, is that you?
Well, would call you beautiful.
Then it's like, then you see like the shot, like him standing in the restaurant, and then like he has to hold the phone away from his ear. It's yelling. It's coming out of it.
Even downstairs, we cringe.
Yeah, you could just you like you guys hear like the muffled screaming from a phone. You guys are like, you guys are just kind of like rubbing your foreheads, looking away. So she does like she does all the yelling, and you're just all like, you put it back to your face.
Another good reason to have left.
It's a bad thing if I cannot calm emotions to the distance.
Yeah, through the phone.
Yeah, that would be useful at the moment.
Someday, when you're like power level 15, you can affect like 40 miles away or whatever.
Yeah, but in the meantime,
you just kind of have to take your licks. Basically, she's yelling like, "Where have you been? Why have you not called? You cheating on me?
it's
You
a
scoundrel!"
it's a long story. I would never cheat on you.
She's like, "Oh, long story." She's like, "I got all night."
I don't. This is a borrowed phone. I have to give it back in 3 minutes. I'll be heading home in a few hours. I need to take care of a few things, but I'll be there.
She's like, "Oh, and I'll be there. Oh, you better be ready."
I know. And I promise I won't use anything on you. You will be free to do whatever you want.
She's like, "Oh, okay, all right. This must be serious." She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be ready for this, Mister."
I know you are. Love you. We'll talk later, okay?
She's like, "Well, you just get home as soon as you can. I'm gonna see you."
Will do.
So she hangs up, and you hang up, and then you take a napkin from the table and you wipe the sweat.
And I just lean against the wall and slide down to a sitting position on the floor, and just sigh heavily, like still shaking a little bit.
You're like, "I don't know what's worse, the end of the world or facing her." As
Yeah,
you just
I'm not
kinda,
sure
put your
about
head
that.
down. You're like, maybe Rash could just get away with it, and it would be all good. There's that momentary thought that maybe it'd be a good thing if
the world ends.
we're just right now, But then you quickly be like, no. This no. The momentary doubt.
Yeah, I head down and I hand Sorrow his phone again.
So like everybody's kind of waiting. They hear you coming downstairs. They're all just kind of like waiting, and then like you show up there. They're like, "Oh," hey. Everybody starts like looking away from you.
Thanks, man.
Not a problem. I'll go ahead and put the phone away, head upstairs. As soon as I get to the front door, it's time to start jumping.
It's like dun, 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 dun.
I turned to Shadow and I had well, so what's the plan? We'll be gathering in a few, or
I think you should go home at least for an hour or so, because we're about to fight the most dangerous person who's ever existed, and we may not walk away from it.
all right. I write down Natalie's phone number and give it to him. You will be able to reach me here.
Okay, I'll be here.
All right.
So you go running away.
Yeah, I just call a cab.
You just saw. Cab rolls by.
I give him the address, and when we arrive, I just convince him that it would be a good deed not to charge me anything because I don't have any money on me.
Ooh, here it is. James Bishop, villain in his infancy.
This is how it begins. It's always the small stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely.
A cab fare here, a meal ticket there.
This
Speaking of which, I grabbed some garlic bread and some chocolates.
Man.
Hey,
I'm assuming
I give it back to the poor kids in Africa and Latin America. So, give me a break.
It's all justified in the end, you know.
Of course.
Does every villain feel justified?
Yeah, the greater good now. You know, the greater good.
See, now this is a great story point because season 2 of this series will be the main villain will be James Bishop, villain extraordinaire.
He has gone full dark side.
All right, so you get the garlic bread, you get the chocolates. You,
I
James,
I
you
walk
take
to the apartment building. I ring on the bell.
and that door like is open. Like the doorbell sound isn't even done ringing before the door is just flung open. There she is in she's like the bathrobe and the slippers. She's got the hand, like the one leg out, the hands on the hip, and that look on her face, and you're just all like,
I brought chocolate.
she invites you in, and you just come, you step into the door, and the door slams shut.
I hope you brought chocolates.
All right, so sketch. So where do you go?
I head back to my house. I am getting into my van. I do have a vehicle. I don't just walk everywhere.
He's got the van with the wood panel trim.
I have like a van instead of like a small car because I need the extra like space for all the art stuff I carry around.
Okay, touche.
It's like I am going to go to like art stores that I know of and start picking up like fabrics, my normal supplies plus new supplies, fabrics and whatnot, and a few and then also a couple like costume shops to pick up like different like materials and stuff there.
Okay, are you go to like Alpha City's equivalent of like the Hobby Lobby or the Michaels or whatever kind of big hobby store you've got?
Or in the small costume shops.
Costume shops, all right. Halloween costumes. You go in there, you're like,
So we really are the mystery men now.
See, now I want to watch that movie.
I know.
So sketch, you end up collecting all of your stuff, and you buy a. I'm assuming you buy like a variety of different fabrics, right? Oh, you must be muted.
Muted?
Hello?
Man down, man down.
Medic.
Down.
Oh, Mike, you there? You're kind of breaking up.
I'm here.
Okay. So I was asking. So you probably do you buy like a variety of fabrics, different types and colors and things to work with?
I'm guessing I will eventually get enough, even though it's probably going to put me a little bit in the red.
Like you load it all in the van, you get back home and you've just got like piles of different fabrics. You're just kind of standing there. They're all like laid out on the table. You get your hands on your hips. You're just kind of looking like, Then you probably start drawing different variants, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah, get tools. Get out the sewing machine.
There he is. Then it's like the Mystery Men montage when they're sewing the stuff, and it's like you put it on, flexing in front of the mirror.
I swear, if we see a girl throwing a bowling ball with a skull in it, I'm quitting.
You're like, I'm done with this game.
No, come back. We need you to be both tank and DPS.
All right, so you're doing that. So Dragon, so leaves you and Amy down here. You guys are kind of like standing here staring at the clue board. She's just kind of standing there leaning on her cane.
I put my fingers over the drawing of Rash, and I say, "My parents are dead because of him, you know."
She turns. So yes, I know. She seems very somber. You know, and we've talked many lengths about this topic. You must not let your emotions cloud your judgment.
I know you're right.
She turns to you. She's like, even though you know that I'm right, will you do right in the end? Will you do what needs to be done?
I guess we'll find out.
She's like, I hope for all of our sakes that you and your friends are able to beat his test. Because if not, in 2 days from now, we're going to be having a very different look on life. And she smiles warmly. She wanders back over here and sits down at the table and drinks tea.
Well,
Any
at least you didn't
advice?
spit it out.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to do, Dragon?
No, unless she has some kind of advice for me.
She's kind of sitting there, kind of somber, just drinking her tea. It looks like she's just like thinking to herself. Like you've seen this kind of demeanor before when she's kind of like lost in her own mind there.
Yeah, I don't have anything else I want to do. I'll just go into the back room and start meditating.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, I know it was a bit of a shorter session because of my computer issues, but we're going to end it here just because I'm getting to the point now where Friday's group, I need to get them caught up to kind of where you guys are at in the timeline because I have some things they're going to be crossing over. And I can't really get too far with you with they're not that so far. So
Okay.
because we're what?
Brian, did I need to make an art check for costume?
Sure. We'll see how well your first one's going to come out here. Good luck.
Actually, I was just going to use ultimate effort and take a 20.
Okay.
I was planning on doing that anyway, so.
Someone
that's
who's really focused on making this outfit.
Sometimes you gotta need it. It's a symbol.
Yeah, 32.
Exactly.
He's the symbol of hope.
Which is what you need right now, Kazi, because you're getting like, oh man.
Reamed.
And then Zoro, you finally get home. Yeah. There's cold spaghetti still in the plate on the table.
Oh.
Where you normally sit.
That's gonna hurt, man.
It already does, man.
It's
With
like,
a note.
aren't you going to eat the spaghetti?
With a note that says, I hope you enjoy the spaghetti. I went out with my friends.
Ouch.
Oh.
And you see like in the sink there was her plate that had spaghetti that has been eaten alone.
Okay.
So this is even worse. Like you're gonna get it again, but now you got like this anticipation of like when's she gonna get home? Like is it gonna be bad? Is she gonna come home?
I'm going to go ahead and heat up the garlic bread, and then warm up the spaghetti.
and you sit alone in the kitchen with the one light on, your hand on your forehead as you slowly eat this lukewarm spaghetti and garlic bread. And then, this is like the great shot, like at the end of an episode of like a TV series, and then the screen just kind of fades out as you just like drop the fork in the plate, and as you're just like, all right, gamers. So there we go. That's that episode with Thursday's group. Hope you enjoyed it. The time is winding down for the players. Rash has made his intent clear. How are the heroes going to handle it? Are they going to be able to defeat him? Will they be able to do it alone? We don't know. And you don't know. But I know. And if you want to know, you're going to have to stay tuned for later episodes. This is probably only going to be maybe a handful more until the end of this this game, this season, this campaign, whatever you want to call it. If you're enjoying it, please hit the like button to support the channel. Also, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, if you want more content. Don't forget the bell icon when I upload new content. Also, I'm going to be getting back on track with my usual kind of content production after I'm done running these 2 sessions every week. Because, it takes a lot of work, to prep stuff and to get everything ready and maps and all that other stuff. But I look forward to getting back on track with my usual content output, and then I will probably be starting another game after these are done. Not sure if it'll be Mutants and Masterminds. Maybe it might be a different game system, but if you are interested in ever running or being in a game with me, you need to be part of my Discord, so the link will be in the description box below. You'll need to go over there, join, meet up with some of the people that are in these games. Also, there's quite a few other people over there too that might be looking for games or looking for players, or want to just talk about different game systems. So don't be afraid to reach out to some of those people. So, but until I see you again in the dungeon, I'm Brian, your Game Master, and happy gaming.